Hello, welcome back to more fun fixing it. This time I've got a silver label. This one, what a silver label is, to my understanding, it's probably something I should look up, is an early C64. There were many different places that C64s were manufactured, and some places had earlier ones with earlier revision boards, and some places had their own low serial number from that production run, which were also silver labels, but doesn't necessarily mean that they were very early. And the very earliest boards, for instance, this Revision A, this is a very early board, Revision A 326298. This is one of the very earliest ones. It's from a very low serial number. These were less common in certain areas, but they still had a silver label on. Here's the cover for this one with its silver labels. And this one's got silver labels. It's got a horrible yellow case as well. But inside this silver label is a bog standard 250407. Although it does have a nice dark green PCB. So as it says on here, this is from my friend Paul, Universal Retro Boss. This is from a batch of 5 silver labels that I've got to repair. This one has no sound, joystick port issue. And I did a triage video on this channel at an earlier date and explored all of the different silver labels that I have here in one big video, or 4 of them. And I found a problem with 3 of them. One of the earlier KU boards, I don't have them to hand right now, but there's I think it's like a Revision B. It's the KU board. It's not as early as that Revision A, but it's still considered one of the silver labels. Is that inside the cans, there's 2 different coloured capacitors here. All of the other ones here are like this blue colour, the same as this. And then these ones here are black. Plus they're inside this can. I've still got the lid for the can here. So this gets hot inside here, and it's not a very nice environment for these capacitors. And these ones have leaked. I can show you that on my handy microscope. Okay, so that's the capacitor right there, but you can see at the base of it is lots of green encrusties, and the other cap has, let's move that out of the way a little bit. Yeah, you can just see at the bottom of that one is starting to leak as well. Now this one isn't too bad. It hasn't gone too far, but that does need taking out and cleaning up at least. Well, the caps are going to need to be replaced. 2 of the other KU boards did the same thing. The Revision A hasn't done this. I've never seen this before. It seems to be a certain combination of these black caps and blue caps on certain boards. So what I'm going to do today is fix that. Also address this problem with the SID, which I'm hoping is the only thing that's stopping the controller ports working. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's first of all get these out of here and see if there's any further damage. Because these are silver, this is a silver label officially, so I'm treating it with a little bit more respect than I would at your run-of-the-mill bread bin. This is still going to be a little bit more valuable, but it's not as valuable as the other ones that I've got in this series. But it's a really nice one, and what I really like about this one is all of the chips are in sockets. All of the custom chips are in sockets, so it's going to be a little bit easier to work on. But it has got this thing. Now, normally I would just bin these, but because this is in a silver label case, I'm going to put it back. Some people don't like me binning the other ones. They're from the common C64 bread bins, and some people won't like me putting it back in there because it's not the best thing for these boards. I'm just having a quick look on the back side of where these caps are. I can't see any corrosion that's come through, so that's a good sign. Okay, so I've just marked where the 2 capacitors I think are, and I'm going to add some fresh solder, because what happens with electrolytic capacitors, they spill their guts, and that electrolytic fluid, which is corrosive, ends up creating a solder that doesn't like to melt. It eats into the solder And that solder is then much more difficult to actually, God, these are really bubbling, much more difficult to remove. I'm wondering if that's actually, they bubbled up quite nastily then. I'm wondering if that's actually something to do with what's going on here. I'm just going to walk these out because I think that's going to be the kindest way to do this. There's one. That was a bit reluctant to melt through to the other side then, so I think some of what I said is holding up there. Ugh, that's really horrible. We'll have a closer look at those in a second. Just clear those holes with this. Yeah, that's quite corroded. And a spot of braid as well, just to tidy things up on this side, and then we'll have a look on the other side under the microscope. See what we're dealing with. This side looks like it's escaped unscathed for the most part. I think it wasn't going to be long though. Well, that one's not cleared. Let's go back to this side. Oh, I'm also going to have to remove this capacitor here because that's suffered some damage, so that's going to need to be replaced as well. Yeah, I think those are probably no good anymore. I'm hoping that that isn't a pad. Looks like it might be. We'll soon see. Right, that's not moving, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of heat. Yeah, there we go. And there you have that, which is probably absolutely fine. Right, let's see what the damage is. Yeah, I think we might have lost a pad there. Or two. It's going to go and get some vinegar. Just to neutralise what's there. I don't think I need to remove like that chip. I can't see any signs of corrosion around that one. It's literally just around these two components. And I'm just very aware that vinegar is also corrosive. So I don't want to cause any more damage. I don't want to leave this sitting on the board to rot anything else away. Is that a pad under there? So now that that's vinegared, I'm going to give this a good douse of isopropyl alcohol, which isn't going to hurt anything. It will evaporate before it can, and give it a clean with a nano sponge. It's ideal for this. I'm also going to give it a brush. Oh, where's my... More isopropyl. Okay, there could be pads there, but I'm not convinced. Is that metal? That's still the crystallized gunk that forms when you get electrolytic fluid and it reacting with things. So I think this is a pad. Not sure about this one. Maybe. Some damaged solder mask there. I'm not too worried about that. That looks like the trace that runs between these. So the corrosion has obviously gone underneath here, under the solder mask, and crept along this trace. But as long as it's not broken, I think we're all good. Quite aware of the face I'm pulling while I'm doing this. I'm looking through a part of my glasses. That means I can see what I'm doing. But I'm pulling a bit of a Kenneth Williams face. That one looks okay. More to take off there. I think that's copper now. Well, that bit there is copper. This bit is getting towards copper, so I'll keep going. I want to get this so that I can flood solder across it to strengthen it. I want to reinforce the copper that's there. And obviously remove any corrosion that could be hiding under certain areas. Right, so next I'm going to see if I can make this take solder by putting some, let's get it dried up first, putting some flux on it. I'm going to try with this bit first. And see if I can get solder to flow onto that pad. I'm not sure it's going to work. So what many people don't understand about flux is that what it does is, the mechanism of flux is to become highly corrosive at temperature, at high temperature. So that, I'm hoping that will mean, it's very difficult to see what I'm doing here. Well, some of it has. Okay, so now that I've got some on there, it's time to remove it. Braid is pretty good for this because it's got flux in it. It makes it an ideal way of scrubbing away some of this with the braid. Oh, there's another trace there. Look, that's got damage. But, actually, no. Surely those aren't connected. These 2 points here can't be connected. So why is that? Is that just a bit of damaged solder mask? I can always replace that. Sure, those are connected. Yeah, those definitely aren't. Okay, I need to keep going until this is mostly clean. Put some more flux on there. There we go. Some of it is taking solder. I'm not worried about the one on the right. That doesn't look like it's got any problems at all, so I'm going to leave that one alone and go back to just chipping away at this until we've got copper everywhere that we want it to be. Actually got some dental picks here. Give me a little bit more control on the scrapiness. Seems to be really deep there. I am wondering if that is eaten through. I think it is. Yeah, I think that's PCB under there. And this trace here is only connected through this bit here. And this is, yeah, that's what's happened there. That's gone. This was very, very close to being completely destroyed. I just want to make sure that I've got all of the alkaline out from under there. Of course, I'm not going to be able to be completely sure about getting the solder out of these holes, but I'm going to try and just reflow them multiple times, and then once I've got everything off, all of the solder back off again, I will then attempt to clean the holes. But that one looks okay. That's just debris floating around there. So I'm going to need to repair this with a patch of some sort. That's okay, I can do that. Let's go back up to this one. Yeah, I think this is another one that could have been worse. Okay. Oh, that's better. Okay. Happy with that one. All right, I'm going to give it one more pass just to see if I can get these last bits of smuts out. Smuts is a good word. I think right now, these bits here, like that bit I'm poking at now, that's actually where there isn't any pad left. There are a few places where it just needs a bit more cleaning up. I think that trace is now gone. Let's have a look. That looks like it's separated. Yeah, that's gone. I've made it worse, but I'm not unhappy about that because this was never going to last for much longer. And I want to make sure anything I put on there is going to last for as long as possible. I need to clear that hole out. I'm going to flood it once more though. It doesn't look very good here, but that might just be because a lot of the gunk has come through. So let's give it a clean up first and see what happens. Yeah, it's not too bad. The other ones over here look pretty good as well. But this, where is it? This one here is the worst one, the one that's blocked up. Oh, look at that. That's horrible. I'm going to fill all of the holes that I'm clearing out with solder. And then I'm going to test them from side to side to make sure that there's continuity through. In case I need to run a bodge wire through the via, if the vire is broken internally, which is likely on some of these, then I need to know that that's going to be salvageable, or I need to know what to repair. Nothing has come through this one. Oh, that's really unhappy. Yeah, I think that vire's gone. And right, I'm going to clear out all of the holes, and then I'll get a small, very thin drill bit and see if I can just clear that out. Sorry, got to put my microphone on. Someone come and knocked on the door. Right, let's get these unblocked. Okay, they've all seem to have cleared really nicely. I think it might be better to run a bodge wire on the bottom here rather than on the top here. So the pads on the top don't actually connect to anything. Right, let's have a look here. Let's have a plan of action. So that pad is not connected on the top. I don't need to worry about the wire on this one. This one is connected on the top to this one. I don't think it's connected on the other side. So again, I don't need to worry about either of these ones. I just need to put them in, solder them on the other side, and run a bodge wire on the other side between these two. I need to clean this up, obviously, and make it look better. But I can put the 100 nanofarad, oh sorry, the 104 ceramic in here and the 10 microfarad cap in here. I do want to make sure that this is clean, so I'm going to try running a drill bit through that hole there, just to make sure that the wire is not going to rot anything that I put in there, if it's hiding any goop. I've got this tiny drill bit. Yeah, I think what's going on there in that bit there is that's just board substrate. I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape here, a little bit of paint on it. That's art, that is. I was never going to see it. And I have this UV flashlight. Phil sent me. Thank you, Phil, again for this. This thing is super powerful. What does it draw? 1.6 amps at 5 volts. This draws 1.7 amps. It's insane. I'll only need to leave that for a minute or so. Have you finished your tanning session, sir? Right, get that unplugged, because this is a scary, powerful light. I don't like leaving that plugged in. It gets very hot. But that should have cured that perfectly now. Where is it? There it is. Yeah. Rock solid. Let's have a look at the other side. So the only thing I really need to do is run a bodge wire between this point and this point. They should be connected. Everything else like this is now connected to this trace, so that's fine. That's going to be where it is. You know, it's going to be connected to what it's supposed to be connected. And these likewise are connected on this side, but the only ones that are connected on the other side are these two. Just going to give this a little bit of a clean out on this side because I can see there's a bit of gunk around. Found a better fitting drill bit. Oh yeah, this is much better. Okay, so another look at that. So this one was the one you just saw with all that gunk and schmutz inside it, and I've just cleaned it with this drill bit, which just fits in there. Fits in these holes better. But obviously I'm at an angle under the microscope. Yeah, that has made me a lot more confident that these are all clean now on the inside. Oh, I did forget to do these ones. Whoops. Yeah, let's do that now. Oh, this is just dirt. Yeah, this isn't too bad, this one. Let's just loosen it up and then I'll give it a clean with some isopropyl. I think this will be fine. Soak it up. Yep, that looks good. See the edges of it, look, it's coming away at the edges where it's corroded away. Okay, let's get some solder on there. See if that helps. I'll just give it a clean first. Yeah, that looks good. This one will be fine as well. That's good. Okay, we've got a little bit of damage to the solder mask on this trace here, so I'm just going to expose a little bit of that. Definitely not touch the trace itself, but just anywhere where there might be corrosion hiding underneath, I just want to get rid of that. And then I'll have to paint that one. Actually, I need to clean it first. Fresh nano sponge. I'm just going to touch in this corner as well. That bit. So that bit there is bare copper now. I'm not going to flood it again. It'll get a coating of solder when I actually come to do the rest of it, when I put the components back in. So have another look up this end. What is that? Oh, that is what came through when I poke the the drill through. That's all that crystallized goop. Okay, I've just taken the caps out of a spares board. These are the blue ones. The difference between the caps out here and the in here are that these are low profile to go under this can. But I do have some new 10 microfarad caps, and they do fit inside there. So I'm probably just going to go with these. I don't know what brand these are. I don't recognise that brand name, so they're not the best. But I'm wondering if these are going to be better quality than these. If these are better quality, I don't think they're a very good brand either. I can see Grand Sonic. I think Sega would have something to say about that. Commodore. Let's give these a test with this. This tends to work quite well with caps. So that's, yeah, 9 microfarads, 9.3, so it's well within tolerance that way, and 3.1 ohms resistance. Bear that in mind. This one, 9.22 and 3.8 ohms. Let's try with the ESR meter. Not sure how good this is with these low value caps. 2 ohms. And the new one, 1.1. Well, I'm going to give this the edge. I'm going to go with the new one, I think. As long as it's within, yeah, 9.28. So yeah, I'm going to go with the new ones. But I have taken a ceramic cap out of the spares board, so I've got one that matches all of the other caps on here. Yeah, that is just below the level of the can, even though this isn't the right footprint capacitor. Yeah. Okay, so I'm happy that the caps are going to sit under there. I'm happy that I've got all of the damage cleared up now. Just put these components back, run that bodge wire underneath, and then we can look at the controller port problem. Yeah, you can see a good amount of solder that's flowed up onto the pads on this side. So things are working well. The wires are connected where they should be. That's really good. I'm happy with that. The only thing I need to do now, as well as chop these legs off, is run a bodge wire between those 2 points there. Okay, it's not actually touching the board, so I was going to put heat shrink around this, but it's stood up off the board. I can get the ends of these pliers underneath it, these tweezers underneath there, so it's not going to short on anything. I just need to attach it to the other end now. Lovely. Yeah, that's not so bad. And we're done. That's done. Let's put it back in its case and see if it still works. Oh, there was one thing. I did notice there's some schmutz around here as well. Look at that word, schmutz. There's some dirt and stuff going on around here. Just before I go any further, I just want to check these controller ports. That looks mostly okay. There's a big hole in one of them, but yeah, they seem okay. Oh, look, there's a bodge wire just like my one over here. That's a factory one. Okay, what have I done? Nothing. It's the cartridge slot. Needs a clean. I would definitely got a problem with the SID, so let's just pop that out and put another one in. This one is my test SID. This one I use to test these boards because it's faulty, but it does make some sounds, not all of them, but it does pass all of the tests on Diagnostics. So just make sure it makes a noise. Excellent. And the only other thing I need to do now is put the test harness in and make sure that's okay. And I have just spotted there's another leaking cap. Can you just see underneath that leg, or underneath that can there? This is leaking. Now what do I do? Well, before I go any further, let's get the test harness on and make sure everything's working. And then if it is working, then at that point, I'm going to take that cap out and examine all of the others to make sure none of the others are leaking. And ask Paul what he wants to do. There might be another one leaking over here. Yeah, the reset circuit cap is leaking as well as that one is as well. Oh, these all need changing. So I'm going to change all of these 10 microfarad caps. I think these are all 10 microfarad. Luckily, I've got a few here. And they're all 10 microfarad, 25 volts, the same as the ones in the board. What's that one? That one looks okay. I'm not going to change these big ones. They very rarely go wrong. Right, let's get it tested. Okay, that's passed all of that. The only other thing I need to do is make sure that it passes all of the tests. So we'll let the RAM test run through. Right, that's passed. I'm going to take this apart again and whip out all of these caps and put in new ones. First time I've recapped a Commodore 64. Mostly. Not going to do the whole thing. I don't think. I've honestly never seen this before on any Commodore, all the dozens and dozens of Commodore 64s. I must have done over 100 now. And I've never seen leaking caps. And this one's got loads of them. Oh, one more. Better clean the top where this was corroded, actually. Well, it's not corroded, but it started leaking. There's no corrosion on this side. Yeah, they're all fine. Yeah, I think that's all of them. There we go. A couple of them moved around, but they're fine. Right, again. Let's see if I've broken it. Works nice. Is it me, or does that start up a little bit quicker? No, about the same. Okay, so the SID needs to be replaced still, but that's a job for future Lee when he builds some SID picos up. I need to order some picos actually. I'm getting a bit short of those. But this one, keyboard. And the spacebar worked perfectly. Brilliant, that one's done. Just need to pop my test SID out of there now and mark this up for a SID replacement. Okay, so recapped 10 microfarad caps, repaired leak damage and needs SID. This one is finished. Nice. This will be up for sale on Paul's. Well, I don't know where Paul will sell this, but if you can possibly contact him through Retro Hardware Discord. So if this is something that interests you, I'm going to try and get him to advertise these on there as well. Oh, there's a hole in the case there. Looks like someone's thrown a dart right at that bit there. That's a bit of a shame. It's not the best case anyway. Oh, it's got another hole there. Someone's definitely playing darts with this. There's a hole here as well. It's not the best case, but it is a silver label. Let's have a look at the serial number actually, because people are interested in this sort of thing. Here we go. It's not a particularly early one, made in West Germany. It's a WGB 37113. I'll put all the screws back and put it away. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Get out quick.